Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another video, and the title of this one is pretty spicy. I haven't thought of it yet, but I'll put something in there. It's about Electro Rover. And the situation here is pretty simple. You should be not building this guy in this patch. This is a bait, and I'm here to explain exactly why. This unit is essentially just story flavor at the moment, because their role at a baseline is very simple. They're an Electro Flare sub DPS. Concerto efficiency, while also dealing damage, basically means that your goal is to, like, get onto the field and, like, get out relatively quickly. And that's just kind of, like, really what it is, right? That's what quick Concerto energy generation means. You can apply your outro buff and then get going. The thing is with this character is that their outro buff would lead you to believe that they have a decent amount of maybe some general supporting ability, right? You see that 25% all damage amplification. This only works if you apply negative statuses. So at a baseline, this amp is only going to work if there is a negative status applier on the team. So that already limits Electro Rover's like existing team comps to a very small number of eligible DPSs. And those eligible DPSs are naturally going to be, well, you got Yang Yang Zhuan Ling, who's going to be better with a Rebecca, a Mortefi, or like fucking a Lene. So she's already got better options and they're all free, or Rebecca's free and Mortefi's free, basically. And Lene is not really free, but you probably should have her by now. So Yang Yang doesn't really want her. Hiyuki could technically use Electro Rover as well, but Lene's going to be better, and Lucilla's going to be better. And this is kind of the only circumstance where E-Rover has one technical use case. You don't have Lene, you don't have Lucilla, but you have Chisa, and you want to play this character. This is kind of like the only actual, like, somewhat meta-viable team that exists for them right here. And the team that this one replaces, guys, is this. Electro Rover is replacing Jian Xin. So if you were using this before, which I doubt you were, then E-Rover will exist as the upgrade to this. Were you using this? Raise your hand. Type 1 if you were using this team non-sarcastically prior to 3.5. There's like 3 people that were using this. Because nobody was fucking playing this shit because it sucked ass. Because it's bad. It's buns. It's really not good. And this is the thing, guys. Your Jian Xin needs to be below S0 too. Once you get to an S1 Jian Xin, she's better than E-Rover. So your Jian Xin has to be both S0. Yeah, she just has to be S0 for E-Rover to be better. But the second she gets her S1, she's better. And you probably are going to have her S1 because she's a standard character. You lose 50-50s to her. So this one's a bit of a wash too. Because this one's probably, your Josh is probably going to be better than your Rover. And that's going to be the situation over here for anybody that is trying to make use of the E-Rover unit. Because the only other eligible DPSs you're going to have, guys, are Fusion Burst Imith, which is like, if you're running Fusion Burst Imith with E-Rover, you are not going to do anything. Like I don't even think you can clear the side towers if you run that team. And then you got Cardathea. And Zoni doesn't apply negative statuses, so that's not going to work either. So I think you got Cart and then maybe Phoebe. And you're probably noticing they're not going to be a best in slot anywhere. Guys, that is the current state of Electro Rover in version 3.5 as they're releasing. They're only an upgrade over an S0 Jian Xin on one team that you likely weren't playing anyways. And when you combine that with the fact that, well, you don't have any of their sequence nodes either. Well, let's be real here, ladies and gentlemen. You can't even play them in their, like, second intended role too. Because as we all know, right, when you like one of the big things about E-Rover is this dynamic over here. We'll just like kind of like throw it out in the Hiyuki team so I can like show you. It's this dynamic over here where I need to find some enemies. Give me a second. I'm gonna go find some enemies so I can charge up my forte. But the Whimpering Waste area is actually a fucking wasteland, bro. Where are all my ops at? I miss flying at Ridacita, boys. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, no, this feels so much better than the fucking motorcycle, bro. It's unreal. Ah, here we go.
Leave it to me.
All right, so here we go, right? They got this ability where they can hold their skill, right? Oh, yeah. And now they turn into all versions of Rover, right? You can't even use that shit either.
I will be there for everyone.
Because all their sequence nodes buff that shit.
Leaving the past behind.
So it's like, you already know Apex Resonance is what we were just using, right? And that's like their main DPS form. All of the upgrades for it are like over here. So it's like, even if you wanted to play like the MC Aura really cool form, it's not even close to its full potential because the big damage upgrades to it are like over here. So you can't really use them in their sub DPS role because they're Electro Flare oriented and there's no Electro Flare DPS, and you can't use them in their main DPS, or you kinda can, I guess. But just know you're gonna be missing so many important stat buffs that like, they're probably not gonna be very strong or like even worth playing in the first place. It's literally just a like wait and see and like a hope that they'll get the support that they need in the future. Because I think it's very clear for a lot of individuals who they're supposed to be supporting, right? Let me play a short segment for you from the 3.5 main story quest. I know it's a long one, but just know that Sheen, whatever the fucking pronunciation is, she shows up. And a big thing about her, right, is that she gives, or really, she is essentially the reason why we unlock the ability of Electro. I'm not going to get too much into the story details of how exactly she does that, but let's just say Sheen is the one that allows us to get it going. And so the end result sort of is, most people assume Sheen is going to be the Electro Flare DPS because of that. Yeah, Rover is kind of like her Resonant, not really, if you know like what Arbiters and stuff are all about. She's the Sentinel, right? Rover's kind of her Sentinel. Or Rover's kind of like her Resonator. So the thing is, we likely need to wait until Sheen actually comes out for this unit to work. It's really similar to the dynamic that we had with Arrow Rover, where we're all kind of aware that Arrow Rover was kind of cool looking on release, but they were quite dog shit for like two versions, version 2.2 and version 2.3. Because then Cardathea came out in version 2.4, and this team with Chakota was actually the best team in the game at the time. And naturally, I think a lot of people are under this assumption. You're likely going to have Rover, Soy, especially due to the fact that Soy and Sheen had some interactions in the story. The best in slot team for Sheen is probably going to be Soy, Electric Rover, and then Sheen in the DPS slot. That's what I would assume, especially based off of what I've seen in the story. That's probably going to be the thing that makes the most sense. And so, if you want to make use of Electro Rover, my advice to you is very, very, very simple. Have patience and make sure you pull this unit's sister. Because a big thing about Soy's kit, right? A really big thing about Soy's kit is she has the ability to really support Electro Flare specifically in ways that some units really can't, by providing a shit ton of attack while also increasing the stack limit. Chisa only increases the stack limit, but then doesn't provide the attack, which is a bit rough. Soy, on the other hand, based off of some of the early kit leaks that we've gotten from Kuro Games, well, guys, let's take a look at some of the introductory effects real quick. Let's take a look at some of those effects. And one of the biggest ones is, of course, going to be on her outro skill. And I'll just read this. When they cast outro, Sui grants the incoming Resonator Undulating Mist. When Resonators with Undulating Mist consume negative statuses or Electro Rage stacks on the target, they gain an attack increase. For every 0.12% of Sui's ER over 200, the Resonator's attack is increased by 0.1%, up to 50%. So Sheen likely has an Electro Rage consuming mechanic built into her kit, or like Electro Flare consuming mechanic built into her kit, that's going to allow her to gain this massive attack buff from Soy, and then, of course, synergize with E-Rover at the same time with all of the other buffs that they're going to have in their kit. Because I think that I haven't even leveled them right because they're kind of dog shit. I think they have a 10% attack buff as well located in there. That's obviously not that much, but you probably don't need much more than 10% if you got Soy in the background providing a massive, like she provides like 80% total with her kit, as well as 25% outro. And when you know, right, wait a second over here. There's one thing I really want to take a look at. So, This is just a short excerpt from the quest. And this is the reason for why. Basically, the person she's talking to is Soy Soy. That scene talking to Soy Soy, that's why I think they're going to work together. But that's pretty much it. Don't build this unit. They are effectively, at this point in time in version 3.5, they are the premier account bricker. Making the decision, right, to invest in things like, I don't know, a new weapon for them, which you probably don't need to, but like raising all their skills. This is the equivalent of taking or giving somebody an interest-free loan. You're giving an interest-free loan to Kuro Games. Think about all of these resources, all of the credits, everything you're putting into, right, raising these skills up to like 10 or whatever. You could be putting these into literally any other unit. You could be putting these into farming tacit fields. You could be putting these into, I don't know, mowing your fucking lawn instead of spending the time grinding for these. It's a complete waste in the present to spend your time on this character because you are getting absolutely zero out of it. Nothing. And so just wait to expend resources, wait until the character actually fucking does something. Because right now I see people asking me, hey, can you build E-Rover? Can you make a guide? I'm not going to make a guide for a character that's a strict downgrade on every team and is a net loss of value to your account to level up in the present. Your account is weaker. You have less resources. You are in a worse spot leveling this unit than just AFKing and leaving them there. Making a guide is like actually CC malpractice. That's why I'm making this video instead, telling you not to build this fucking character. And when Scene does come out, and this unit is no longer a, like, dead weight on your account, we'll probably make some content surrounding them. But in the present, I am just explicitly explaining to you why there will be no content on this fucking character. Because they are useless. They are a bait, and they will probably get a lot better with time. But I am simply recognizing, boy oh boy, in the present, they are dog shit. Kind of the same thing. No, the E-Rover was just dog shit overall. So yeah, that's the situation. Hopefully it explains everything. And, at the very least, I'm praying that this video over here has gotten at least some savings on your resources somewhere. You, like, at least maybe you didn't take it up to 10. You're keeping the levels at, like, 9 or something. Because there's another thing that I also need to talk about when it comes to this character, and it's another reason for you not to, like, build them. What set are they supposed to use, bro? Are we not, like, non-sarcastically, is this like a Moonlit Clouds character in 2026? I know there are some Moonlit Clouds characters, but, like, I would hope there's, like, a... Where's this? Where's this? Where's, I don't know, Gusts of Thunder? I don't know, bro. Maybe it comes out when Scene comes out, right? But it's just kind of like, at least we got Gusts of Welkin in 2.2. To kind of, like, inform us that the archetype was going to be built out more, that area erosion was going to be a lot more important. Like, right now, it's just, bro, E-Rover released, and then we're using sets from 1.0, and that's what's in the recommended menu. It's like, it doesn't feel right. Do you know what I mean? This doesn't feel right. Like, it's even like the devs are telling you, yeah, this is a terrible idea. Because non-sarcastically, you would be farming 1.0 tacit fields to build this character. Imagine you're like a newer player. You've only gotten Renacida units onward. You started in like 2.5. Bro, you would actually need to go back to 1.0 tacit fields to build this unit. I'm not talking about people that already have an inventory like you or me. People that maybe have 0 for Void Thunder or 0 for Moonlit Clouds. Yeah, it's kind of rough, isn't it? So yeah. Take it as a sign from Kuro Games. Take it as a sign from me. Take it as a sign from... Bro. Every single place everywhere is kind of just telling you, don't fucking build this character. Bro, do they even have Electro Rover on the... Bro, did they just delete E-Rover from the tier list? Oh, sorry. No, they just weren't in the support category. Nah, they theoretically the worst character in the game. Like truly, like... Remember, they replaced John Shin on one team, and they're worse than the S1 John Shin. So, like, skip them. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.